A society where adolescents suffer most has not attended to its dead properly. Certain things were done when people died so that they don't try to live through you too strongly. You distance yourself genetically from them so that this life operates and organizes itself as a fresh life. Well, it is Mahalaya Amavasya in the next few days. This is a time of the year where close to the autumnal equinox, this is the time of the year when the earth is most feminine, particularly in the northern hemisphere. The feminine quality of the planet is more enhanced. So, feminine being dominant, Mahalaya Amavasya is also seen as a time when our respects, regards and obeisance be paid to our ancestors. What is the significance of ancestors? They're dead, why should we bother about them? Well, the problem is, who you are right now, in today's world, you constantly being on Google, maybe you think you were delivered by the Google lady. The people that we refer to as your ancestors, they may not necessarily be wandering around, hanging onto the trees, but they're living within you. How much of ancestry stays alive within you? On one level, it enriches your life. On another level, it enslaves your life. We are who we are only because of our forefathers. What they learned, what they knew, their skills, their technologies, their sense of life, we have imbibed all of it knowingly or unknowingly, every one of us. At the same time, if you let them live too strong within you, you won't have a life of your own. Because then, do not underestimate the dead, they will try to live through you. This is why so much care was taken, not in any one culture, across cultures everywhere in the world. Certain things were done when people died so that they don't try to live through you too strongly. Because if they live through you too strongly, your life is wasted. That is, you will not be a fresh life. You will be sort of a carbon copy of an old life. The very way you sit and stand You may not understand this in the beginning of your life. When you were 18, 20, you thought you're definitely not going to be like your father or your mother, that's the last thing you want to be. You know, I'm talking about the free spirits. But by the time you're 45, you sit like them, you stand like them, you talk like them, you know. Unknowingly, even your body moves like them. So every culture always took care to distance themselves from the dead in so many different ways. In India, we developed elaborate methodologies, chose times when we can do maximum in this direction, so that year on year, we create more and more distance. So this is a time of the year which is referred to as the Pitru Paksha. That means this is a time to attend to your ancestors. You may know them, you may not know them. Up to 12 generations of people are usually attended to so that they don't try to live through you. You distance yourself genetically from them so that this life operates and organizes itself as a fresh life, as a new possibility, that it doesn't become a repetition of the past. So this, we are right now at this time under Mahalaya Amavasya in the yoga center. I think anywhere between 20 to 25,000 people will do the necessary processes to distance themselves from their ancestors. They may be dead long time ago. How we handle the dead has substantial relevance to one's life. I've said this before, which now going into research mode in some places, because what you observe with life is no more research. You have to observe the lab rats, whether their ancestral behavior has influence on them. Only if it's true for rats, it's true for you. Rat race, you know. Well, even among them, it's been noticed that one experiment, I think this happened in the Emory University, if I'm right, or I could be off in terms of university, some premier American university for sure. They made this small experiment where a bunch of rats were given nice a cherry blossom smelling cheese. They lapped it up one day. Next day when they came to eat, when they bit into the cheese, they got an electric shock. You know, humans. And again, a few days they did this, that whenever they bit into this cherry blossom smelling cheese, they got a shock. 7 generations of rats would not go anywhere near cherry blossom smell. They learned their lesson, I'm saying. And these generations did not live together in case they're running a school. They were separated. So wherever they were, for 7 generations, their learning remained. It's only in the 8th generation, it started dissipating. So it is true with rats, it must be true with you. I mean, I'm going by the data. But we know always it's true with you. Both positives and negatives are true with you. Both positives and negatives, if it become very strong influence upon your life, they turn into a negative process. It may be positive, but if it becomes a very strong influence, then it becomes negative because whatever your 7 I'm only going 7, okay? Mahalaya Amavasya we're going to 12, but in case… because you're all covered, I can't make out whether you're Homo sapiens or rodents. Really, we're all looking funny these days. So, generations of people that we have lost, probably we do not know them, we don't know their names, we have not even seen their pictures, but they're living through us. So whatever learnings they had 7 or 12 generations ago, if it plays out too strongly, you will become irrelevant to today's life. So you have a fear of cherry blossom, may not mean anything today, but it continues within you. So this complex web of information, which we are today calling as genetic information, karmic information, pranic information, various kinds of things which have built up as a network of information which is functioning in our lives in so many different ways. Some of it has been accessed and researched by scientific modern research. Many, they know it is heading in that direction, but you need funding to come out with results, so it is being postponed. But we know this has influence. especially societies which don't handle their dead properly. In those societies, the most vulnerable population will be adolescents. From 0 to 8 years of age, children generally have a kind of a protection and an immunity from the ancestors. They be their own thing, but between 8 and 18, the influence of unattended ancestral, for lack of words I'm using, their spirit or their memory plays havoc with adolescents. So a society where adolescents suffer most, it's the best part of your life in many ways, but they suffer most, that society, you must know, has not attended to its dead properly. So this is the time of the year where even if we have not done something in the past, everybody makes an attempt to deal with the ancestral dead so that their influence is limited in our lives. We appreciate who they were, we appreciate their contributions, we have this kind of body, this kind of brain, this kind of learning, this kind of whatever. In all that they have a role, we appreciate that. At the same time, we want them to stand a little away from us so that we can live our own lives. This is important. Otherwise, their influence will be very, very strong. Adolescents and post-pregnancy women are most vulnerable for these forces. It is very important. If there are such people in your homes, you must attend to this. So Mahalaya Amavasya